In earlier episodes, we explored the foundation work in three groundbreaking fields: Einstein's theory of general relativity, foundational discoveries in quantum mechanics, and emerging research in quantum biology. A key fact emerged from that research: coherent quantum processes, once thought to exist only in highly controlled lab settings, may play a far more pervasive role in nature than previously imagined. This raises a compelling question: can tiny, subatomic behaviors influence larger, observable phenomena? To answer this, we turn to chaos theory and emergence, fields dedicated to understanding how minuscule, unpredictable events can cascade into large-scale consequences. Our story begins in 1893 with Henri Poincaré's work, Les méthodes nouvelles de la mécanique céleste. While studying the three-body problem in celestial mechanics, Poincaré discovered something remarkable. Deterministic systems could exhibit unpredictable behavior. He found that tiny differences in initial conditions could lead to vastly different outcomes, what we now recognize as sensitive dependence on initial conditions, a sign of chaos. Poincaré's mathematical insights laid the groundwork for chaos theory, though it would take decades for their full implications to be appreciated. The modern era of chaos theory began in 1963 when meteorologist Edward Lorenz published Deterministic Non-Periodic Flow. While running weather simulations, Lorenz discovered that minuscule rounding errors in his calculations, changing 0.506127 to 0.506, produced dramatically different weather patterns. This led to his famous question: does the flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil set off a tornado in Texas? The Lorenz attractor, a beautiful butterfly-shaped set of chaotic solutions, became an iconic symbol of chaos theory and demonstrated how complex, unpredictable behavior could arise from simple deterministic equations. In 1976, Robert May's influential paper, Simple Mathematical Models with Very Complicated Dynamics, in the journal Nature, brought chaos theory to a broader scientific audience. May demonstrated how the deceptively simple logistic equation used to model population growth could generate incredibly complex behavior depending on a single parameter. His work revealed the period-doubling route to chaos and showed that chaotic dynamics might be common in ecological systems. May's accessible presentation helped scientists across disciplines recognize chaos in their own fields. A major breakthrough came in 1990 with Controlling Chaos by Ott, Grabogi, and York. This revolutionary paper, published in the journal Physical Review Letters, demonstrated that chaotic systems, despite their unpredictability, could be controlled using small, carefully timed perturbations. The OJY method they developed showed that the very sensitivity that makes chaotic systems unpredictable also makes them remarkably controllable with minimal intervention. This transformed chaos from a limiting factor to a powerful tool, with applications ranging from stabilizing cardiac rhythms to secure communications. Parallel to developments in chaos theory, our understanding of emergence was evolving. In 1972, Nobel laureate Philip Anderson published the seminal paper More is Different in Science. Anderson challenged the reductionist view that understanding fundamental components would automatically lead to understanding the whole. He argued that each level of complexity in nature requires its own conceptual framework, as new properties emerge that cannot be predicted solely from knowledge of constituent parts. This paper established emergence as a legitimate scientific concept rather than merely a philosophical notion. In 2001, Leon Glass synthesized decades of research in synchronization and rhythmic processes in physiology, published in Nature. Glass demonstrated how synchronized rhythms emerge from the complex interactions of biological components without centralized control. From heartbeats to neural oscillations, these rhythmic processes exemplify how ordered patterns can spontaneously emerge in complex systems. Glass's work bridged theoretical concepts with practical applications in medicine, showing how disruptions in emergent rhythms could lead to pathological conditions. The late 1990s saw network science emerge as a powerful framework for understanding complex systems. In 1998, Duncan Watts and Stephen Strogatz published Collective Dynamics of Small World Networks in Nature, introducing the small world network model. They demonstrated that many real-world networks, from neural connections in C. elegans to the power grid of the western United States, share a common architecture, high clustering combined with short average path lengths. This structure emerges naturally and enables efficient information transfer and synchronization across the network. Building on this foundation, Albert Laszlo Barabasi and Reka Albert published Emergence of Scaling in Random Networks in Science in 1999. They discovered that many real networks, including the World Wide Web, exhibit a scale-free property where some nodes, hubs, have an extraordinarily high number of connections. This structure emerges naturally through preferential attachment. New nodes tend to connect to already well-connected nodes. Scale-free networks demonstrate remarkable robustness against random failures, but vulnerability to targeted attacks on hubs. In 2000, these network concepts were applied to biology in The Large-Scale Organization of Metabolic Networks, published in Nature by Jiang and colleagues. They analyzed metabolic networks across 43 different organisms and found a universal architecture despite billions of years of evolution. These networks exhibited both scale-free and small-world properties, suggesting that certain organizational principles emerge naturally in biological systems. This work demonstrated how network science could reveal hidden order in the apparent complexity of living systems. In previous episode, we investigated the potential for quantum mechanical effects to be operative in biological systems. This episode has illustrated how subatomic scale dynamics, via the principle of emergence, could give rise to observable macroscopic phenomena. Extending this framework, the next episode will explore hypotheses regarding the origin of life.